The Boxer engine is a rare engine configuration, with only 2 remaining car manufacturers using this layout, which are Subaru and Porsche. Instead of making a wannabe EcoBoost, Duramax, or a Hemi type of engine, what if I join in and make a full-sized American pickup truck using a Boxer 6 engine? Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, and let's get on with our build. So with the panel material of this over 3-meter wheelbase type of truck that we got going here, let's choose the aluminum panel material because, well, it's gotta be built for tough, am I right? I guess not. So for the chassis type, let's change this up a little bit by choosing a light truck monocoque chassis, with the chassis material set to a corrosion-resistant steel, with the engine placement being a good old front longitudinal because, well, gotta be rear-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and all that good stuff. With the front suspension we're using is a McPherson strut for the front, and the rear suspension, good old solid axle leaf for the sake of off-road and load capability purposes. So for the engine, like I just said, including the title of the video, Boxer 6 made out of aluminum. It'll be an all-aluminum build that we're gonna be going here. So the engine size, let's probably make this like a mid-3s up in here, like a 3.5 or something like that. To increase the bore, just let's do 3.6 liters. So right here, the bore set to 93 millimeters with the stroke set to 88.3 millimeters to get the size of 3,599 cubic centimeters, with the dual overhead cam 4 valve also made out of aluminum. For the crank count rods and pistons, let's use some of the more modern materials such as a forged steel kind of crankshaft with the count rod set to a heavy-duty forge for the sake of the torque and everything. And the pistons, we'll probably do hyper-eutectic cast, I'm guessing, to lower emissions. And our harmonic damper, we may need it, but let's choose it just in case. For the compression, let's lower this just a tad because she's going to be turbocharged up in here. Let's do VVT at all cams. With the RPM limit, let's start off at, let's do 6,000 RPM. And like I said, turbocharger, we might probably do a single turbo for the heck of it. And drop this to boost just a tad, and maybe for the turbine and the compressor, but we'll find out a little bit later, see what's really needed up in here. So for the fuel system, we're going to be choosing the direct injection single throttle setup with a standard mid-intake running on the good old regular fuel because premium is so expensive here in America, it seems like, and all that good stuff. Now for the headers and everything, turbo mid-cast headers with a, single exhaust, the exhaust diameter set. Let's set this to 63.5 millimeters or about 2.5 inches. And I might probably change this to probably a twin turbo setup because I want to have like dual exhausts up in here maybe, but let's find out. So we're going to go 3-way CAD converter, no first small for but a second reverse flow, which will a good amount of power and torque, not too bad. It kicks in at 2,500 RPM, we could do better. So let's keep dropping the turbine size quite a bit up in here. Maybe get around like in the 350s in terms of horsepower and everything. But the turbo should be kicking at around 1,700 RPM. And what does the turbo grid show? So we got a little bit of surge stress up in here. That's not too bad as long as we maybe drop the power or what. Alright, so it's finalized this here engine, so we got the power rating of 392 horsepower, 5,500 RPM, and the torque at 455.7 pounds-feet of torque at 3,100 RPM. For a Boxer 6 engine, particularly being used for trucks and hauling all this good stuff, not too bad of a start. Or an engine in general, to be honest with you. So let's give you a listen of what this engine sounds like right now. It sounds a little quiet, but I do give credit of how the turbocharger really kicks in at around like 1,800 RPM, and the torque pretty much increases, levels out for a while, it drops off at around like in the high 3,000s, 4,000s, and so on. Not that bad of a single turbo engine. For the drive type, of course, it being a pickup truck, let's choose the longitudinal 4x4 system with an advanced automatic 6-speed with the top speed set almost 180 miles an hour. Are you kidding me? We could do that if we wanted to make a knockoff frickin' Ford Raptor or something, but this is a little overkill or something up in here, yeah? Now for the tires, let's use some realistic tires up in here, like the ones you see at the shops or something. So a radial, let's choose radial utility tires maybe? With the front end 155 by default, are you kidding me? So I test these out, 245s front and back will do. Now for the brakes, they pretty much have to stop at a dime of how this almost 2-ton vehicle must do. So let's choose a solid disc 4-piston, increase the size, yeah, about 330 would probably do. And the rear will be a solid disc, but a 2-piston, almost similarly sized, like a 300 in the back. And pretty much all the time for rear brakes, let's do like a 60% in the back. It'll probably say it's gonna be too much, but who knows. So for the under tray, maybe add an under tray, but I don't know. Let's just choose an off-road skid tray just for the heck of it. Increase the brake airflow to a 15. Now for the interior, since it's not a crew cab or nothing like that, so let's choose the 3 seats option, so a full bench seat up front with a standard type of interior with a premium infotainment system to be like the Dodge U-Connect or something. And for the safety and all that good stuff, so for the steering, we're going to be choosing the regular electric power steering with electronic stability control only without launch control. And some 2000s standard safety standards. And finally, for the suspension, let's choose the good old progressive springs with adaptive dampers and off-road sway bars. Looks like a micro amount of oversteering in terms of drivability with the steering at slow speeds. Not that much the the sportiness factor. How about the high speeds? Not bad. It claims it understeers starting at 80 miles an hour. Seems fair. And sheesh, this thing is a lowrider up here. What if I drop the car hoist up here? Let's see, where is it at? 364 millimeter ride height? No, that's not gonna work. Jack this boy, let's do a 420 because blaze that, bitches. So to increase the back's load capacity to almost 5,000 pounds of 4,920 pounds. How are the brakes? Horrible. The rears are okay, I'll give you that. A little bit of utility fade. Let's increase that just a smidge. Alright, so the tuning is just about done. Increased the bad load capacity by 5,300 pounds and all that good stuff. So let's get ready to design this here bad boy as soon as I raise the car hoist up in here, so ignoring that. So for this part of the video, I'll give you a time-lapse design of me designing the front end, the sides, rear, and all that good stuff designing this Boxer 6 engine truck. So let's commence the time-lapse portion of the video right now. So for the design of this truck, I first did some body morphs with the front bumper and side fenders, especially for having realistically wide tires. For the front, I loosely based it off the Chevy Colorado with the headlights split down the middle to go in line with the chrome grille trim. Speaking of the grille, instead of keeping the center trim piece as is, I added a few vertical trim pieces to fill in the rest of the spaces on that grille. I then added a pair of fog lights, a secondary grille, and a few other fixtures for the front end of this truck. For the sides, it's pretty basic. I added this side trim piece to mimic GM's design with these trucks and SUVs that they've made around this time period, which includes the name of the car model, which is called the Cerberus on top. I later added the engine size and name below that trim piece later on with this build. Now wrapping things up with the rear, I wanted to wrap the taillights around the rear quarter panel, but this game can get quite glitchy with placing fixtures on a body's edge. So I settled with a basic vertical pair of taillights, along with a center brake light that includes these mock-up bed lights and a tow receiver with tow hitch. Finally, I added this gray paint job like a majority of these trucks are on the road today, including the naming of the car name and engine name on top. So after getting everything done with this build, here's what it came out. This is the 2009 Alpha Cerberus XLT. This revolutionary long bed pickup truck is like no other. Featuring a 3.6-liter Boxer 6 engine called the Flat Max, you can tell automakers to consider using this layout than your traditional V or inline engines. Alright, so I finally got this truck here all set and done with the 3.6 freaking flat max type of engine we got going here because, well, it's a Boxer engine, we had to give it a name, similar to GM's Duramax. So before exporting this here bad boy, despite our only 3 problems we got with this here truck, such as some brake fade issues, rear tires being quite wide, and the clearance issues, the side of the engine being quite narrow, let's jump on over to BeamNG.drive to test this here Boxer truck out. So here we are at the map of West Coast USA with the truck all set and done here. Despite having like 38 on the loudness factor for automation, the exhaust seems kind of loud and... oh crap. I forgot to adjust the exhaust pipe in terms of the angle, but whatever. So we got the truck here all set and done, it being turbocharged, and it being ready at the highway portion of the map here. Let's start off our base performance test, starting with the 0 to 62 acceleration test, followed by the 62 to 0 brake test, and lastly, a top speed run with this Boxer engine truck. So let's get ready to go here with these 3 cops being confused on how to enter a frickin' highway to merge on. So let's get ready to accelerate now. Here we go. First gear, second gear. Oh my goodness. 0 to 62 in 4.18 seconds of 232 feet exactly. The police pursued me, so pursue this once I do the brake test. Alright, it showed 6. Okay, now it's 62. Brake. Please don't interrupt my test, please. 62 to 0 at 2.70 seconds of 114.96 feet. So what will the cops do? He's gonna stop, and I surrender. I got ticketed for speeding. Okay, thank you. So for the brakes, in terms of time and distance, not too bad despite having realistic brakes with the front and on the back. So for top speed are in effect, a little mild 4.10 seconds. Was at the same time, 0.08 of a second better. So I did a neutral drop to see if it'll be a little bit better, but it's a tad better. Not too bad. So we got the cops. Weave it! Sheesh! So we're in top gear right now, 140 plus miles an hour. There was a little bit of oversteer and frickin' air raid siren of that blue buck still going off up in here, that police car. So how would it navigate a simple corner? Ooh, oversteering. So that means, damn, little bit of oversteer at high speeds. Get out of my way, 156 miles an hour is the best top speed we got. Into the wall we go. Still at the wall, hit the little thing. Nope, engine is off, tire deflated, and the cops are gonna do their job as I am on my side. You're welcome. So final look before we do some towing tests up in here. So the left side has been decimated, including the front end part of the vehicle as the radiator is leaking, including the window right here. How about the SUV? He's okay. His lights are, his siren's shut off, including these 2 up here. So right now, let's do some tow tests at the automation test track. So here I am at the automation test track, and I got the 5th wheel dolly back with an empty dry van trailer that we got going here, which I believe this is like 14 or 15,000 pounds that we're hauling up in here. And for the quick pull test, we're going to be going up these percentage grades up here, starting from with the 8% grade, then see if we can go up to the 50% grade, then the 25% grade, and lastly, the 33% grade. So let's see how this thing works. What if I accelerate? Because the dolly is dragging on the ground. So let's go. Oh, we're going. So here's the speed test. 20-some miles an hour, side road speeds. 8% grade as we go. A little bit of swinginess, because this is a pickup truck, not a semi-truck. 8% grade, not too bad. Let's head on over to the 50% as I... Oh man, this is sketchy trying to swing this around. Oh man. Okay, 50% grade. The dolly is still ruining my life up here, so full throttle. See, auto steers to the right because of the stability and everything, because, like I said, you need a semi-truck, not a pickup truck. 50%, not that bad. I might as well increase the jackknife strength by 1,000,000%. Alright, just straightened myself out, a little bit of no grabbing, 25%. I got the diffs locked front and the rear tires, a little bit of slowingness. 25%? Pretty clean, not bad. Now for the 35%, the usual pain in the ass for most of my pull tests. Oh jeez, I might as well increase the freaking weight on this bad boy right now. So 35% is a pass. Let's increase the weight right now. So let's do all 3 loads of 4,300 kilograms of TastiCola. If I do the math, that equals to 12,900 kilograms of load that we got going here. So is everything all set and done with the... Oh, it was. Alright, same test. 8, 50, 25, 33. Let's go. N-words. Alright, let's do a simple 4,300 kilograms of this TastiCola. Let's go. Okay, here we go. Now we're accelerating. I got myself in the low range. What if we do high range? Not that bad. Alright, 8%. No problem. Let's do 15%. Alright kids, here's 50%, residential road speeds, 20 miles an hour airspeed, 21-ish, averaging 21, and downhill, so let's hit the downhill. That right there is a pass. 25% on the way. Let's hover over the range box. I might have to go low range, let's see. Dropping, and significantly dropping. Got all 4 tires locked, the front and the rear diffs are locked, and we're bouncing like crazy with the RPM, and 25%, not that bad. Alright, I should definitely go into low range mode for 35%. We're scraping the frickin' trailer legs. Please, get me up the 35 grade. Sick ass wheel spin. What is this, a car beat or something? So 35% with the 4,300 load of TastiCola is a fail. That sucks. Well, it did good without any load, but a little bit of load in the middle up in here. It's unfortunately a fail at the 35%, but it could do good elsewhere. But here, not so much. So let's wrap up the vehicle testing by doing a time trial run by staying at this map. So we got the truck all set and done here, so we're doing only one lap around the automation racing circuit, the full circuit that we got going here. So here we are behind the start and finish line. Let's get ready to start things off here by counting down in 3, 2, 1. Launch control at 2,000 RPM. Fair enough. At 0 to 60, can we get it? Ooh, just under 4 seconds at 397. Nice. And it still is kind of sucky that we still got the little freaking MPG counter, I think the older one MPG counter in ways with the torque graph that we got going here. It sucks that I cannot turn it off by going into the escape button. I hit the escape button and go to like the apps or something like that. It don't do that one bit as we're off track. Let's make this clean. Alright, so I cleared myself up, but it's a simple restart. Let's see the brake zone because we have to brake a little. That was a little too early because this is a two-ton vehicle that we got going here. So that simple reset of me just reset by attempt got rid of the old MPG counter on the torque graph that we got going here. So according to torque graph, it says we're making 379 brake horsepower with this engine, and if it were to be naturally aspirated, then that would equal up to 217 horsepower. So a pretty good difference of having an 11 PSI single turbocharger for a flat 6 like this. So let's see. How about a high-speed lefty? So just an off-camber type of... No, the next one up here is an off-camber type of turn that we got going here. So I had to stay on the brakes. Let's see. The 200... Gradually hit the brakes. A little bit softer here. 50. This is an off-camber turn. 60-ish miles an hour. With ECS turned on to sport mode. Not so bad. Now heavy braking. Let's do the 100 marker. Let's see if my Gran Turismo skills sort of paid off. Being brake at the 100 marker. And ECS is killing my ass. Coming up to the final corner. Kind of clip that curb as so, and to the outside sausage curbs. So our final time is at a 2 minutes of a 2 minutes, 25 seconds, 442 milliseconds, which puts us in a pretty fair third place. Let's see here. Unhide the UI. Crash camera as is. A deadly front-end crash with the intercooler exposed with this turbocharged engine and into the other tire walls. Let's go back here. So third place. What's my first place car? One of the worst cars of all time video that we got going here. So this is one of the worst cars in the automation, or the BeamNG repository, the automation section. So let's go to free roam. A brief look at the aftermath destruction vehicle. So with the intercooler exposed, the engine is still running. Is that really true if I back up? Can it drive? We can back up. But we can't steer right, but we can steer left into the tire barrier as so. So that is pretty unfortunate because it enters a drive shaft, put it out like it's a freaking shank or something up like here. So kids, stay away from this if you got some loose polygons because this could hurt you big time. So for the final part of the video, let's drop dead at the good old leap of death by dropping this boxer engine type of truck out. Just stick it to the V engines or the inline engines and that's it. So let's take it to the top of the ramp right now. Alright, Mr. Cerberus, let's go out like Georgia Cerberus, the Final Fantasy VII game from the PS2. Let's see, is it a good game? Bad game? Let me know down in the comments below. 67 miles an hour was the launch, I believe, so 0 to 62 in 5.10 seconds at 262 to 20 feet. Not that bad. We're gonna do a front flip. Engine start of oil. I don't even care, so we're gonna stop the camera and get a good, yes, a good slow-mo crash going. So let's do a 50 times slow-mo at 240 miles per hour of a near like a roof, front end, hood type of crash that we got going here, including the back tires, the bed, and all that good stuff. So record cameras a go. Speed up a little bit. Anything more interesting than the tires falling apart, flying away? Nope, full time. And the engine is still running. No, the engine's dead, right? Engine's dead? Question mark? I believe so. There's no RPM, so it's full time it all the way. And it's still not showing the main engine broken up in here, or like the drivetrain is messed up, but let's see here. Heavy hit right there, and another tire deflated, and get ready to splash here, and 3, 2, 1, splash. Splash to the water, no form of resistance, and we're at the fricking pond, lake, shore, this and that bed. What in the yo-yo hell is this am I doing here? Alright, let's see here. Can we stay on the path? Whatever. I want to do some, like, friggin', like, stay in the flat land right here of the damn walls, so let's just keep it right here, right where we're at. Stop going anywhere, just the police, you're under arrest. So, because of me doing that yo-yo mess up in here a little bit earlier, so the look of this truck, can you call this a truck? Or can you call this a freaking mess in a scrapyard? I mean, seriously, even putting this up in the air as so, I mean, you can't even make out what this is at all. I mean, what do you call this, man? A car or a hunk of metal? Goddamn. So that'll do it with automation and BeamNG.drive with the Alpha Cerberus XLT. For a truck that houses a Boxer 6 engine, well, it did pretty great, especially for a high-performance model of one of nearly making 400 horsepower with over 450-ish pounds-feet of torque. I'd say that this is one of the pretty much good alternative replacements, or pretty much a general alternative if you don't want to build an inline engine or a V engine type of truck engine. If you want to be unique, go ahead and use a Boxer engine, but if you want to remain in the status quo in terms of the market availability and all the good stuff and the familiarity, just keep building the V engines or the inline engines and just go from there. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. So this is TRIZE rising up and signing out.